What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another Euro 2024 fancy video. In this one, I'm going to talk about whether or not to stick or twist with your captaincy. I've woken up on Saturday morning after watching Germany versus Scotland last night. Decided to do a quick video on this, just a one-take thing, no fancy graphics or anything like that. Because although we talked about it before the tournament started in various videos, once we get to the business end and people actually have to make decisions, they tend to panic about it a little bit more. Should I twist on this player? How many points should it be until I stick, etc. So I want to run through it. Obviously, I will use some examples from last night's game between Germany and Scotland, but this will apply to future match days as well. Now, the first thing I want to say is try and understand what type of fantasy football manager you are and the type of manager you want to be for the rest of this tournament. Because last night, kind of 10, 20, 30 minutes into the Germany versus Scotland game, people are already panicking and getting very stressed about having the wrong player, having Gundogan instead of Wirtz, or not having Havertz, right? Whatever it might be. Why didn't I spend 8.5 million on Musiala, etc., etc.? If you're already stressed about this game and you've got like 9 points from Havertz or something like that, I would just say stick. The rest of the match there will be a lot less stressful for you. If you're going into this and you can kind of separate the fantasy aspect from watching what will hopefully be a great tournament, and you told yourself you were going to gamble, then you should be looking for more than kind of 9 to 10 points, especially when you've got lots more players to come and some heavy hitters as well. Like for me, I take FPL pretty seriously, right? I'm very patient. Even if players have blanked for a few weeks, I'll keep hold of them. I already know going into next season, as boring as it is, if Haaland is fit and has a good fixture, I will probably be captaining him, right? But going into international tournaments, I find it really easy to separate the fantasy from the football. Like not at one point last night was I worried about which players I'd picked. And I told myself going into the tournament that I was going to gamble. I want at least 2 attacking returns and then preferably like ball recoveries or man of the match on top for me to stick with my captaincy. So I went with Mittelstadt last night. Now, he's an easy switch, of course. But if he'd only got a clean sheet or only got a goal but lost the clean sheet, I wouldn't even have to think about it, right? He's going to someone else. There's 4 more opportunities in match day 1 to try and hit a bigger score. And ultimately, and look, everyone will want to play the game differently. Some of you might be playing in mini leagues where there's lots of money riding on it, right? Your experience of this game might be different to mine. For me, I'm just picturing it as it'll be over in a month. I just want to go for it. So try and think about how you want to play it. Also, it'd be really helpful if you decided what score you wanted from each of your players that you're going to captain and at what point you're going to stick before the game starts, right? That's super handy. Like I know from my captain today, if they hit 12 plus points, I'm sticking. I'm not going to twist to Kane and then Mbappe and then Fernandes, etc. So try and decide before we start or before each day starts what you would be happy with, and then just don't go against that, right? That's probably the best way to play. But in the group stages, when there's lots of days in each match day, I'd be more willing to gamble. Like when you get to the semi-finals, there's a game on one day, and then the other game is the next day. You've only got one switch. So if someone gets 12 points, you're not going to gamble the next day unless you really want to push in terms of overall rank or you're really chasing in a mini league or something like that. So let's look at some examples from last night from the Germany game. Again, this can be applied to future match days as well. So Musiala, I think, was the highest scoring player last night, 12 points. So 1 goal, 1 clean sheet because he was off the pitch before Scotland scored, or before Rudiger scored. 3 ball recoveries as well, so you got an extra point for that. And he was player of the match. So although we only got 1 return in terms of a goal scored, player of the match is 3 points. Essentially, it's the same as an assist. And he's got ball recoveries and he's got the clean sheet point. I think 12 is probably an okay stick, right? More than okay stick. Because to get more than that, you know, if you're looking like an Mbappe or a Kane or a Ronaldo, they're going to have to score a brace and get player of the match. And even then, that would be what I think it's 4 points for a goal. So the 2 goals plus the appearances would be 10 points. Player of the match would be 3. That's 13. It's only 1 point more. I'm not sure that is worth a gamble. Really, if you captain Musiala last night, you're hoping to hit a hat-trick, I would say. Or like a brace from a midfielder plus a clean sheet plus player of the match, right? That might outscore him instead. So I think 12 is fine. Before the tournament, I said like 15, I'm definitely sticking. 12, 13, 14 probably. Anything less than that, I think for the first day when you've got 4 more captains to come, I would probably twist. Like with Havertz, for example, he did get 2 attacking returns, 1 goal, 1 assist. But because there was no ball recoveries there, And because he's listed as a forward, so you only get 4 points for a goal rather than 5, like with midfielders, no player of the match, he's only got 9 points. Like, surely from the next 4 players you've got, there's a captain in there that can outscore that, right? Even if a forward just gets 2 goals and no player in the match, they'll outscore by 1 point, right? And I think that's a gamble worth taking. And also, a lot of people, and again, this depends on how you want to view it, a lot of people will look at it, well, do I really want to gamble for just 3 points? But also, what's the worst case scenario? Like Kane, Mbappe, Lukaku, Ronaldo, they're going to get at least 1 goal, surely, right? Between them. I'm not saying they all have to get one, but you're going to hit a goal somewhere down the line. If they go and get a second return and player of the match, you're absolutely laughing. So me, I see it as like, if I've got Havertz, I think the worst case scenario is I'm going to get like 7 points from another captain. So it's a 2-point risk, but potentially the gain is much higher than that. So for me, Havertz, I wouldn't even have to think about it. I'd be switching. You've got 4 more shots. The game's going to be over in a month. Gamble, right? Unless it's going to stress you out, in which case don't. Wirtz is an interesting one. I was tweeting with Praz last night. He's going to stick for peace of mind. Absolutely get that. I think this is a close one. So he's got 1 goal. He got an extra point for a goal from outside the box, an extra point for ball recoveries, and 1 point for the clean sheet as well. Because again, he went off before Rudiger scored that own goal. 10 points is probably fine. I think once you hit double figures, you're okay to stick. Because again, even if one of the forwards scores a brace, they're only going to match him. They would need to get another return or a man of the match. I still think I personally would twist because I would feel like, again, worst case scenario, I'm getting 7 or 8 points. For a couple of points, I'm willing to risk getting a bigger score. Bearing in mind, most people have like Kane, Mbappe, Ronaldo to come, or Kane, Mbappe, Fernandes, whoever it might be. I think personally, I'm willing to risk that when there's 4 more opportunities. But honestly, you should go with what you're comfortable with. I think when you hit double figures, that's probably okay. And the other thing to say, by the way, while I'm just rambling on here, is as well as trying to decide what you're happy with, the expectations as you get through should be lower. As in, what you're happy to stick with should get less as you go through the days, because obviously there's less chances to gamble. So let's say you come off Wirtz and he gets 10, and you go for DeMarco today, right, and he gets 8. Personally, in my team where I've got Kane, Mbappe, and Fernandes to come, I would twist on 8 points again. But if, I don't know, let's say Mbappe scores 2 goals but doesn't get player of the match and scores 10, and I've only got Fernandes to come, I'm sticking. I'm not going to twist with 1 player to go, but I would be willing to do that for the first game. Now, I think I've already mentioned this. I captain Mittelstadt, right, for match day 1, and he's blanked. I've already changed my captain, right? It was super easy. And some people will say, if you had Wirtz, there's no way you would twist. But I like to think I probably would in this kind of format. I'm willing to bet those couple of points to get a bigger score later on. And it's similar with kind of match day 2 and 3, right? There's 1 less captain. You only get 4 in match day 2 and 3. But if on the first day, I go for Gundogan or Mittelstadt again, and they get 10 points, I think I would twist knowing that I've got Kane against Denmark, I've got Mbappe versus Netherlands, and then Lukaku against Romania or Fernandes against Turkey. I think I would twist on 10 points. 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe not. But you've got to put your own like cutoff in before the game starts. It just makes life easier. If you know going into last night that 10 points was going to be your stick, there's no decisions to be made. Don't even think about it. Just enjoy the rest of the match day. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. So yeah, in terms of captain, that's probably all I'm going to talk about. I will just go through, obviously, last night's game. Germany were pretty damn good. I was kind of expecting it, to be honest. I think people are a little bit down on them, but they've got Nagelsmann. The first 11 is great. They've got strength in depth as well. Like Wirtz, Musiala is an absolute joke. His dribbling is incredible. I think the way Havertz and Gundogan kind of interchange and stuff like that is good too. Like Gundogan, look, if you went for him, you're probably frustrated that like Havertz took the penalty, but unfortunately Gundogan got a massive whack, which obviously what the red card came from, and just probably wasn't able to take the penalty at that point. I think he will take them moving forward. But Gundogan I thought was quite good. He had quite a few chances in the box. Just one of those games where it didn't happen for him. But Musiala, great. Would I go for him? Would I go back in time and go for him? I mean, probably, because he got 12 points. But ultimately, I still think Wirtz was the better pick for $1 million less. And they did concede, but Scotland didn't even have a shot on target. So I think if you went for a defender from Germany or double defence, more than fine. In terms of my team, I've twisted captaincy because, again, I had Mittelstadt. My 2 options today are DeMarco and Szoboszlai. I kept saying that I was going to captain DeMarco because he was the only player I had today. But I completely forgot that I put Szoboszlai in. He's playing against Switzerland. So I'm going to go for him. I think with DeMarco, you need, for a big score, you pretty much need the clean sheet. Which obviously could happen, right? Albania, they got one of the best chances of getting a clean sheet in match day 1. But you need that plus a goal, I think, to stick. Whereas Szoboszlai, I just think on penalties, so many avenues to points. I don't think Switzerland's an awful game. I don't think it's easy. This could be a 1-1 or something like that. But I think if they're going to score Hungary, Szoboszlai will probably be involved. And so I'm going to go for him, knowing that I've got Kane, Mbappe, and Fernandes to come. And I guess I've got to choose. Like, if Szoboszlai on the second day gets 12 points, I'm definitely sticking. 11 points, I'm going against what I just said, because 11 points, I'd still be thinking about it. I'm going to say if Szoboszlai hits 11 or 12, I'll stick. If he hits 10, I'm going to twist. I'm going to go for that bigger score. I'm going to go for Kane, Mbappe, Fernandes getting 2 goals and player of the match at a minimum, and hoping that one of them can hit a hat-trick. Obviously, Mbappe, there was a few doubts about him going into match day 1, but if he's not in the lineup or there's doubts about him playing, I'll just go for Lukaku on the same day. So yeah, there we have it. For me, for last night, I would probably stick with Musiala and I would twist on everyone else, even Wirtz. But that's me. You don't have to make the same decisions. If you're comfortable with 10 points, you should absolutely stick. What a nice score to have for the first game of the match day, not having to worry about the rest. So if you want to stick on 10, Havertz though, 9. I know it's only 1 point. Like, what difference does it make? But for 9, I'm definitely twisting. I want double digits when I've got 4 more players to come. Really depends what type of manager you are. If you want that peace of mind, like Praz said, absolutely, you should stick with Wirtz. If you're going into the tournament, you wanted to gamble, and you're prepared that the score could get worse, because it might be that all 4 of those players I've mentioned that I've got, they may even do worse than 10 points. If you're happy to accept that, then gamble, right? Like I said, tournament will be over in a month, and we start looking ahead to FPL. Well, I'm going to leave it there before I ramble anymore. Thank you very much for watching. Give it a like, hit that subscribe button. In terms of content for the rest of the tournament, just quickly, I am planning to do videos every single match day. But obviously, especially during the group stages, there's no break, right? The last game of match day 1 will finish, then the next day it's match day 2. So the videos will have to come out during the matches themselves. So I'll probably wait until at least we see today's games, and then I'll start thinking about team selection, limitless and wildcard videos and stuff like that. And I'll try and fit in previews where I can to get your questions answered as well. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the tournament. Don't be too annoyed if things go wrong. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. But hopefully you get loads of points today, and hopefully Szoboszlai absolutely smashes DeMarco for captaincy, and I get to stick even. But if not, I'll just twist for Harry Kane tomorrow and hope that he can go and get me a hat-trick. Probably won't, but, you know, we can hope. Thanks for watching. Catch you again soon.